Say our friend is a really good basketball player. He makes 90% of his shots, so we can assume that he has 90% probability of making a shot. He takes 10 shots, and we want to see the probability that he only makes one of them. These are the type of questions we use binomial random variables for. When we read the word binomial, we see bi, which usually means two. In this case, these two represent the outcomes, where you can either fail or you can succeed. You also know you want to use binomial when you have independent repeated trials where the probability doesn't change. For example, we have coin flips, rolling dice, free throw shots. These probabilities don't change over the amount of trials we do. A binomial random variable counts how many successes you get. Okay, so let's define the random variable. Let's say we're given x, which is our number of successes, n, which would be our number of trials, and then p, which is our probability of success. The formula is typically denoted like this, but I think it's really easy to just look at a formula, memorize it, and start plugging in numbers, but I want to give more of an intuitive background. Let's go back to our example, where we have our friend who's a basketball player, and he has a probability of 90% of making a shot. We're also recording this over 10 trials, and we want to see what's the probability he makes one shot. So let's really think about this. Each trial is independent, so we can multiply these probabilities together. We want him to only make one shot. That means he has to succeed once and fail 9 times. So when we look at this, we have our probability for each trial. We have him succeeding on the first one and then failing the rest of the way. This would simplify to... This is cool, we have a big part of a formula done, but this isn't the only way that he can miss 9 shots and make one. Let's list off some other ways. These are some other possible ways that he could make one shot out of the 10 and miss the other 9. So how do we count up all the possible ways he could do this? This is called our binomial coefficient, or you might hear it as combination or maybe even choose function, n choose k. It's typically denoted like this, but can also be denoted a couple other ways. Essentially what it does for our binomial random variables, it tells us how many ways we can choose the amount of successes we want from the amount of trials we have. The math behind it is this, but we don't really have to get into that. Just know it counts up all the different ways we can get our intended outcome. So to go back here, we would multiply this by our binomial coefficient, which would be 10, choose 1. And then when you plug this into your calculator, we get a really small number, which should seem correct. If we have a 90% chance of making a shot, the chance that we only make one shot out of 10 should be really small. So at the end of the day, a binomial random variable is just counting how many successes you can get across repeated independent trials. Thank you.